early, and which is fine. Got some other um, meetings that I need to be in, and so I have come live early today. But I want to make sure that I am, you know, keeping up to my promise because I know this adaptation is a is a big it's a biggie when it comes to the profession. If you are hearing me, if you're here live now and you can hear me loud and clear, I want you to type in the comments below. Okay, okay. Cool. That's good. Great stuff. So just let me know. It's a biggie when it comes to okay the profession. If you are hearing me, okay, good. Right. And I'm just gonna share this now. Uh, okay, let me. This my phone. Hello, everyone. Once you come on live right now, just let me know that you're here. Just gonna sort out something right now. Right, cool. Good, good, good. And then I'll do this, and then I'm good to go. Right, there you go. Excellent. All right, thank you so much for coming in. We're going to get started right now. It's going to be a short one, but it's going to be really impactful for you. Today, I'm looking at one of the GOC outcomes. Remember, there are about 5 outcomes. You can see it right there on the GOC website. One is the um, proceed to pre-reg. That's what, that's the top-notch one. Proceed to pre-reg with training competencies. Adaptation with training competencies, and closure. No one wants a closure. So if you're here right now, I want you to just let me know that you're here and where you're watching from. Thank you so much. If you're watching on live, go ahead and say I'm watching live. If you're watching the replay, say hashtag replay. Right. And if you are live right now, I was supposed to come live 8 o'clock, but I have another meeting that I'm going to be in, and I didn't want to disappoint you, so I've decided to come earlier. If you are hearing me loud and clear, whether you're watching from Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, could you just put into the comments below loud and clear? If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know. Where is my stream? Yeah? Can you hear me? Let me see. Can you hear me? All right. I hope you can hear me because if you can't hear me, you would have said something. All right. So let's go. So today, and if you have questions, remember when you come onto these live, if you have questions, just put it in the comments below. So today we are looking at adaptation. What does that mean and how to go about it? Right. So, just for those of you that are meeting me for the very first time, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Deze Cosmos. I'm the CEO of ACN Academy, where we do nothing more than help international optometrists gain UK qualification with clarity and confidence. So, if you are an international optometrist and you've just received an outcome, which is adaptation, and they want you to do a course, this is for you. And if you are preparing for your GOC interview, maybe you have a date for your interview, um, or you're thinking about UK optometry, this will definitely be of very much value for you. Okay. Now, let me just run down on the things I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be talking about what does adaptation mean. what to do if you've got an adaptation, how much might it cost, and how to avoid it altogether, which is what we specialize in the academy. Now, I have had a few calls from a certain sect in the international community. When they come to the academy, they say, well, I'm not really so keen or so touched on passing the GOC interview. I mean, I just don't want closure. And closure would mean that for that candidate, that the GOC feels that the candidate has no experience whatsoever to build upon, and so they will close their application. Now, these some people would say, well, I don't want closure, I'm okay with an adaptation. And when they say that, I smile in my mind, because I have a feeling that you don't even know what you're asking for. Why would someone that is just preparing to go through the qualification process be accepting an adaptation? If it's what comes out of the if that's your result, there's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to talk to you about what you can do. But if you are preparing for the stages in the UK qualification process, there's no point in accepting an adaptation before you even get there. You actually, literally, for those of us that haven't yet written the GOC interview, you want to do everything within your power to ensure that you go in there and you come out with no adaptations. Okay, so that's the goal. All right. Now, if you have got an adaptation, I want you to put adaptation in the chat below. If you understand what an adaptation is, you can go ahead and do the same. Now, what does adaptation really mean? I'm going to read out a letter and I will explain to you what it means when I read out this letter. I'm not going to share for privacy purposes, but I'm definitely going to read. And I really need to make sure that you can see me. Yep, you see me? Good. Okay. So usually right now, once you take the GOC interview, you will get an outcome. It's just taking a week. If you take it on Monday, you could get it on before Friday. Some people get it the same day, the next day, the Thursday. But yeah, within 5 working days, as I've seen now, you will, the outcomes are coming out. And it will come with a letter-headed GOC letter with the name of the candidate. And it talks, it has a lovely intro, and then it speaks about the outcome. And the title of that section is Outcome of Independent Assessment. Now, I'm going to read a little bit of it. It says, after careful consideration, it has been concluded that the education and training you received in your country differs from that required for optometrists to practice in the UK. Everyone gets that paragraph. Everyone. Doesn't matter where you studied. As far as you studied outside the United Kingdom and Switzerland, that is going to be in your letter. Okay. And then it goes further to say the scope of practice in the United Kingdom is wider than it will mention your country. Now, while acknowledging your training and your post-qualification experience, the assessors noted the following competencies as deficient. They could call names like contact lenses, ocular pathology, binocular vision, pediatric optometry, the list goes on. And then they will say recommendations to address the deficiencies. Then it says to assess the deficiencies identified by the General Optical Council, recommends that you successfully complete the following modules as at an approved GOC education establishment. And then for this particular candidate, it was ocular pathology theory, binocular vision theory. Now remember, they mentioned three: contact lenses, ocular pathology, and binocular vision. But when it came to the adaptation, they say it's two: just ocular pathology theory and binocular vision theory. They said for the third one, that would be as the assessors have identified that the following trailing competencies. So when you hear trailing competencies, it simply means that these things are going to be happening whilst you're going through your pre-registration year. And so if you get an outcome and it's no adaptation in, and in a UK education establishment, that's good, because it doesn't change anything at all. Nothing changes when you get into pre-reg. The only thing I would say that may be a bit difficult is when you are looking for a placement and you have an adaptation on your letter, or a training competency. Sometimes it's hard to get in. Other times it does not matter. I mean, the pool is there. You've just got to keep searching and keep applying once you have finished the adaptation. Now, let's now go to, I'm going to see if I can share my screen, because I want to share with you what the GOC, let me see, can I share my screen? Let's see. I didn't plan this, did I? No. Right, let's see. No, I can't share. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh no. All right. Now, I thought I could share my screen, but I haven't set it up properly. But I'm going to read it out anyway. Okay. Now, there are various universities across the United Kingdom that provide adaptation courses. And the GOC specifically says that it has to be in a UK GOC certified establishment. So it has to be in the United Kingdom. Now, there are a lot of challenges which I'm going to share with you when it comes to adaptation. Now, if the adaptation does not include a practical element, it's a bit better, because it means for the most part of it, you can do that theory from your own country if you're not in the United Kingdom. However, some universities do say that you have to be in the university in order to go through these courses. Now, adaptation varies. Some adaptations can be just like the one I have mentioned now, where they say that you have to do particular courses. Some other times they could say, well, we want you to go back to university and do the whole of final year again. Okay, so those are, the things that can come out. They could say you need to do a practical element, or or they would say only theory, or theory and practical. So it varies. Now, I'm just going to share a word to those that have got adaptation, because I know for those that reach out to me that's got adaptation, they're really like, I'm feeling depressed. I feel I've wasted my time. I'm really feeling stuck. I don't know what to do. Sometimes it can be confusing. It can be overwhelming. I know it's not a good outcome. Yes, but remember that you still have something to be grateful for. And that is that it's not closure. You still have something to be grateful for, that your journey to UK qualification continues. Yes, it's going to be a lot longer than you envisaged. It's going to be definitely more expensive than you envisaged, but it's definitely worth keep on going until you reach your goal. Now, on the GOC website, it does share the various places that offer these adaptation. And because I cannot share the screen, which is annoying because I thought I would be able to. So it means I'm gonna have to do I'll do something and put it up on YouTube for you to watch. But I'm just going to read from the GOC website. And literally, if you go onto the GOC website, you go to registration overseas and you click on the international section, you would see where it begins to talk about the adaptation, the universities that provide these adaptations, and you're expected to reach out to them. Now, remember, you will follow the instruction on the letter. When you find a university that is doing these adaptations, you need to then report back to the GOC, send them the outline of everything that's going to be covered. They will cross check and be sure that it's going to cover what they want, the competencies you want to gain, and then you go ahead and proceed. Now, let's look at cost. Before we look at cost, I just want to say as well, if you are just looking for the exact module that the GOC have recommended, you may not find it. Okay, you may not find it. So what you need to do is to look into the courses that are provided and see if you find a match with what the GOC have said. Bit complicated, but I know that you understand. For those of you that have already, that already have an outcome such as adaptation, I hope this is going to be helpful for you. Now, there are various universities that cover adaptation courses, and as much as I have been able to research, for a particular course like contact lenses, the least I've seen is £2,000, and that would be in GCU. For ocular diseases, again, the least I've seen is £3,000, and that would be in GCU. If for any reason you have got more than 4 or 5 adaptations, and somewhat ocular pathology is in there, this is the only time I recommend going in for a master's. Now, I did have a look. Anglia Ruskin University, Cambridge, does have an optometry adaptation course. And it is specifically, and it says, this course is suitable for qualified optometrists who trained outside the UK but are not registered with the GOC. The GOC will need to provide a letter stating the need for an adaptation for us to consider your application. This is Anglia Ruskin speaking, for those of you that have been looking, for the course. It says, obviously, you're going to send in your application. It states that the cost for the course is 10,500. This would only apply for those that have more than 4. If you've got 3, it may be worth doing the individuals, because for this particular person that had binocular vision, contact lenses, and ocular pathology, that would be 3,000, 2,000, that's 7,000. So that is cheaper. But when it gets to 4, 5, and then you're looking at universities and they're spreading it across the years, you maybe, I would say, rather than spend 10,500 on just an adaptation course and come out without any particular certification or degree, I would say just go into a master's. This is the only time I recommend going in for a master's. And most times when you find the right masters that have the right elements, the GOC would usually accept it. Okay, because obviously it just doesn't talk about the masters, it talks about some other things that you're going to need to go through, like equipment and all that is needed to go through with the adaptation. Okay, all right, I'm just going to pause here and check. Do I have any questions coming in? Any questions coming in? Now, if you're new to the GOC and General Optical Council UK qualification, this may sound a bit somehow to you, but you're not there. This is what happens after the GOC interview. What happens after the GOC interview? This is one of the streams, okay? Now, The next thing I'm going to talk about as I summarize today, I'm just going to check if I've got any questions coming through. Any questions coming through? Okay, not really. The next thing I'm going to talk to you is how to avoid adaptation altogether if you haven't already had your interview. If you're already taking your interview, we can't help. This may not help you. But if you're thinking about GOC, you're thinking about UK qualification, I want you to listen carefully. Now, based on my experience, the reason for which people get closure on adaptation happens in two major phases. Okay, obviously closure can happen if you fill your pre-assessment form wrongly. If you don't fill your the pre-assessment form correctly, you don't put in the right clinical experience, you're not showcasing your experience well in that phase, it can end there. Now, if you are given the application forms or the documents submit, you need to be careful. And this is one of the major things I'm going to be covering in the masterclass coming up this Thursday. It's a free masterclass, and we're talking about how to qualify in the UK in the quickest time possible without wasting no money. No wasting no money, no delay. If you haven't registered for that masterclass, you want to comment masterclass, and I'll send out the link to you for you to register. It is happening on this Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time. I'm going to be talking about that. Now, if the candidate does not showcase their clinical competence in a way that reflects all the things that they have been doing in clinic in the application form, irrespective of how the performance is in the GOC interview, that person could possibly have an adaptation. Now, even if you showcase all you could in your application form and you have a poor interview, that person could still have an adaptation. And so, the major way to avoid this adaptation is amazing application, amazing documents, amazing interview performance. Big clinic, okay? And obviously in the academy, we have helped so many candidates avoid adaptation by preparing them thoroughly through our programs. And prevention is definitely possible, okay? I won't say the system is predictable, but I know that in the UK currently, we are still looking for optometrists. Optometrists are dearly needed. The jobs are there. You just need, if it's something that you're looking into, it's something that you need to prepare well, go in there, keep going in for each stage of the assessment. You want to go in, do well. Pre-assessment done well. Application done well. Interview done well. Get into your pre-reg year, done well, and you keep moving. All right. So if you have received an outcome of adaptation, do not delay. Get enrolled. A lot of universities are enrolling right now for September start. Some universities will be January start. They may have closed applications for September, but the last time I checked, a lot of them are taking on candidates. So just go in there right now and keep going. For some people, once they get adaptation, that's the close of the journey. No, you keep going. Do you get what I mean? You don't want to waste all the time and effort that you've put in so far. You have to keep going. Now, I'm going to pause here and say to someone that may be listening to me that has had an adaptation outcome and it's been over 2 years. I know a few people that have adaptation from 2021, 2022, They haven't been able to find placement just yet. But right now, I think I have good news for you. I have recently found out that if you have an adaptation and it's more than 2 years outcome, you can literally start again. And to go through the GOC process again and get it right this time, I think it's worth it. But I would put a clause there. I would only say if you are still in your practicing country, that will make sense, isn't it? If you're still in your practicing country, hopefully you've been able to you're still practicing, so you could literally start the process again. Just reach out to the GOC, send in talk to them. You haven't been able to get adaptation for the past 2 years. This has expired. I want to start the whole process again and then get started. I know someone that has literally reached out to them, and yes, they said absolutely go ahead and start again. So if your outcome is up to 2 years, yes, you can start again. Now, if you are just starting, you need to be careful, because remember, September next year, the whole process is changing. And when I've now looked into these, I didn't even know that the UK already have adaptation programs. Anglia Ruskin University has, Lancashire has, and it's £10,500 if they are going to adopt the system of America and what's the other place? Canada. Is most likely, because that's what they are talking about. They're talking about, rather than just do an interview and come in for pre-reg, let's start doing something where we can really take international outcomes through an adaptation program, and they understand the way we do things here. And so you want to be careful about what you're doing. All right, I hope this has been helpful to someone, and I hope some eyes are opened, and I hope I've been able to give you the education and hopefully get you thinking, for those of you that are just starting the process, about what you want to be doing. Okay, so if you haven't been interviewed, now is your time to prepare clearly and avoid expensive, stressful, depressing, for some, adaptation route. And if you have an adaptation, you want to buckle up, put your suit on, put your boots on, buckle up, man up, get up, whatever you would say. Go ahead and do that adaptation. Is worth it. But remember, if you've got a lot and the cost is coming out round about 10,500, I would honestly advise that it's better you go for a master's degree. With a master's degree, you can come into the country, you will get a visa for a master's degree, you come in and do your master's degree. And then after that, you have to go through the pre-registration year. Now, another thing I would say is this, which for those of you that haven't written the GOC interview, is that remember, when you finish the whatever the adaptation that you've gone through, you then have to start applying for pre-registration roles. And they will still ask you for your GOC outcome. And so when it comes to priorities, they will have pre-registration year, proceed to pre-reg outcome on top, pre-registration year and training competency next, and then adaptation falls at the bottom. So that's why if you have a chance and you haven't written that interview, you really, really want to work and ensure that you can, avoid adaptation as much as you can. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Obviously, if you want to work with the academy and go through this call, would only be for those that do not have a GOC interview date. We are very careful who we work with in the academy, because we want to make sure that we are able to give outcomes. And so our GOC Accelerator program is only for those that are starting the process, writing IELTS, filling the application form, just submitted the application form, but haven't been called upon to pay the 455 pounds. And if you've paid the 455 pounds like yesterday, 2 weeks ago, that's okay. If it's a month ago, 6 weeks ago, we can't gamble, because most likely your date is coming. So we've got a different package where we go through GOC interview, a session. We do an interview prep session with you, which includes a full mock of the full competencies. If you want to know more, just comment GOC in the comments below, or DM me on any of the platforms. I can reach out to you, discuss where you are at, and discuss where you want to go. Okay. But if you are just starting and you want to avoid this adaptation and all that, you want to work with the academy, go ahead and put clarity in the comments below, and me or my team will reach out to you and talk you through the process and get you started on your way. Right. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. I'm just going to take this. Hello, Chinonso. Everechiku, how are you? Thank you for coming. Thank you for your question. Doctor, starting again, does it mean you will start from filling the GOC form again? Yes. You'll start from filling the GOC form again. And that's why it is important that whoever is starting again you will need to contact the GOC, and they will have to send you out the whole. So you have to start the whole process again. Now, it is the same thing for those that got proceed to pre-reg as well. Once you get a proceed to pre-reg, which is a great result, or you get proceed to pre-reg with training competency, you need to look at your timing. Because if you don't get a job, a pre-registration placement within 2 years, and you have not reached out to the GOC to extend, that result, you're also going to have to start the whole process again. Okay? So, right. Thank you so much, all of you, for listening. If you have not registered for the masterclass, you are missing out. If you are thinking UK optometry, you're thinking you want to start this whole process again, you want to register for that masterclass. Okay? We're going to come on Zoom face to face. We'll trash it out. I'm going to break down things even in detail, but in a short period. You're going to get so much. Some of you that are not sure what to do, I'm really confused, I'm stuck, what do I do? I want to qualify. The masterclass is where you want to be. And if you know a step ahead further, I know what I want, I know what I'm doing, I really need your help in ACN Academy, you want to work with me on that program basis, go ahead and reach out to me, and then we can get you started on your preparation journey. All right, everyone, thank you so much for coming out. Please, before you clock out, like, share. And I'll see you tomorrow again for another wonderful episode of revealing the things that no one's talking about in UK optometry. It's always my pleasure. You take care now. All the best. I hope to see you on the 24th, which is Thursday.